This is the Paltalk News Network.
The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users, on demand on iTunes and on YouTube and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not. No retribution. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show. I remind you again that if you really want to know what's going on in this crazy world of ours, you need to go and read early and often, just like voting in Chicago, PaltalkNewsNetwork.com for all the latest information that you may or may not see here or read in the mainstream media. We're going to get to that in a little bit, including the mayor of Detroit wants to abandon entire neighborhoods and make them no longer part of the city of Detroit. The incredible shrinking city of Detroit. Bad news for our good friend James. They want to overtax drinking here in New York City, James. So I know you wanted to transfer from Texas to work in New York, but you're out of luck, buddy. New charges against some associates of the subway terror plotter Zazi. Anti-Semitism reaches record high in Canada, and here's a surprising one. Human rights violations abound in Venezuela. We'll get to that a little bit later. First, I'm so pleased to have a return engagement from one of the greatest military and space minds of our time, Dr. Ben Bova, who has written a gazillion books, 120 futuristic novels and nonfiction books, involved in science and high technology since the very beginnings of the space age, President Emeritus of the National Space Society, past President of the Science Fiction Writers of America. This guy has an uncanny ability to write about futuristic things that then suddenly come to light. Last time we had Ben Bova on the show, I asked him, now, are you making all this stuff up, or is somebody whispering in your ear? And he kind of chuckled and left it at that. Listen, I want to tell you how deja vu-ish it all is with this guy. His latest book is called Able-One, A-B-L-E-W, I'm sorry, A-B-L-E-O-N-E, Able-One. I'm holding up for those of you who are watching on Pal Talk. Okay? I'm not going to tell you the full plot nor the outcome, but the book is about the North Koreans developing a nuclear warhead and possibly a missile that possibly could reach the United States of America, possibly. And a plan is put into place to use an experimental defense system to knock the missiles out of the air should they launch. The ship that the plane is codenamed Able-One, ABL-1, thus the name of the book. Okay. So, I'm a fan of Dr. Bova. So when I heard he had a new book out, I said, I got to get him back on the show. This was late January when I reached out to his publicist and I said, I need Bova back. Send me his book. I'll read it. We'll have him on the show. This was late January, February 12th, 2010, Reuters. A U.S. high-powered airborne laser weapon shot down a ballistic missile in the first successful test of a futuristic directed energy weapon, the U.S. Military Defense Agency said on Friday. The agency said in a statement the test took place at 8:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursday at Point Mugu's Naval Air Warfare Center Weapons Division C range off Ventura in Central California. Excuse me, this is Able-One, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Ben Bova, first, welcome back to News Talk Online on the Paltalk News Network. And at the risk of being repetitive, do you just make this stuff up, or is somebody whispering in your ear? Did we lose Dr. Bova after that great introduction?
No, he's still online, Gary. Just 1 second.
Okay, well, there you go. Geez, I hope the missile defense system works better than our phone patch, or we're in big trouble. Shall I hum a few bars? I'm still not hearing Dr. Bova. Well, while we're waiting to hear his melodious tones, this story, this Reuters story, is basically this fictional story that I'm reading in the book Able One, and I'm wondering actually if he's so accurate about the defense systems. How accurate is he about the threat that the North Koreans potentially pose, in spite of the fact that all of their missiles that they shoot are kind of duds? Any luck yet, boys, in getting Dr. Bova with us?
I will have to leave the room and come back.
Okay, well, this is disconcerting, but it's really kind of amazing how this guy does this. And the book presupposes that perhaps clandestinely the North Koreans may be having some support from others who have greater missile capabilities than they do. Anybody want to venture in text in our virtual auditorium a guess who the book suggests they may be getting assistance from? There you go, Raman. It's the Chinese, of course. And I mean, they were the first to know about missiles. They were the first to have fireworks. They were the first to have firearms. They know missiles, and they are closely allied and aligned with the North Koreans. That's right. They invented gunpowder. And what would happen, God forbid, if the Chinese used the Koreans as a surrogate to launch an attack against the United States or one of the U.S. allies? And I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Boaz is not back yet, I take it, right? He must be having some real technical problems here. But better him than me. Dane in New York, what do you have for me?
Hey, Gary. Well, I mean, a couple of years back, I don't know if you heard the news report about China had done some missile testing, and what had happened actually is